Did you know that a simple, polite two-word phrase uttered in the chaotic moments right after a car crash can literally destroy your ability to get compensation later? It sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into some fascinating source material that serves as a true survivor's guide to navigating the incredibly intimidating auto insurance claims process. So, what are those dangerous words? I'm fine, or I'm not injured. These are legally the absolute most dangerous words you can speak at an accident scene. Look, injuries like whiplash or traumatic brain injury often don't produce obvious symptoms right away. It takes time for the adrenaline to wear off. But if you tell the other driver or the police that you are fine, well, that permanent time-stamped record can and absolutely will be used by insurance adjusters to deny your claim when your symptoms surface days later. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our step-by-step roadmap that will take us from the stressful crash scene all the way to the settlement check. Immediate action at the scene, gathering crucial crash evidence, navigating the insurance notification, surviving the investigation traps, handling delays and denied claims, and finally, post-claim tips. Let's start with Section 1, immediate action at the scene. The seconds and minutes immediately following a collision are pure chaos, but your physical safety absolutely has to come before any insurance worries. Step 1, if your car is drivable, move it to safety immediately to avoid a secondary collision. In fact, under laws like California Vehicle Code Section 2001, you are legally required to stop and remain at the scene. Step 2, check for those hidden injuries we just talked about. Pay attention to any unusual stiffness or nausea. And Step 3, call 911. You need a police report. Even in a minor fender bender, a police report creates an official, objective, time-stamped record, because without it, proving what actually happened becomes a total nightmare if the other driver decides to suddenly change their story. Moving on to Section 2, gathering crucial crash evidence. Once the scene is safe, you need to shift instantly into evidence-gathering mode. You have to do this before vehicles are moved or memories start to fade. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what you need to gather. Pull out your phone and get wide shots of the intersection, close-ups of the impact points, and license plates. Here's a pro tip. Record a quick voice memo noting the weather, your estimated speed, and exactly what you saw. Collect all the driver details you see listed here, but listen to me carefully, stay factual. Never guess about fault, and absolutely never apologize while exchanging information. An apology can legally be interpreted as an admission of liability. Next up, Section 3, navigating the insurance notification. So, you've survived the physical danger of the crash, but now you are entering contractual danger. Once you leave the scene, a series of invisible ticking clocks instantly starts running. You are literally racing against 3 different deadlines. First, your insurance policy usually requires you to report the accident promptly. That's generally within 24 hours to 7 days. Second, you have state reporting requirements hovering between 10 and 30 days. And, catch this, if a government vehicle was involved, like a city bus, you might have as little as 30 days to file a formal notice. Finally, the legal statute of limitations to actually sue for damages ranges from 1 to 6 years, depending on where you live. Let's demystify these complex state reporting forms with a concrete example. In California, you have to submit a form called the SR1 to the DMV. But when is that external DMV documentation actually triggered? Well, if anyone is injured or killed, or if property damage exceeds a threshold like $1,000, yes, you must report it. But a minor scrape with no injuries, you don't have to report it to the state, though you definitely still need to tell your insurer. Once you do notify your insurer, here is the macro life cycle happening behind the scenes. They acknowledge the claim, assign an adjuster, investigate the facts, inspect the vehicle damage, determine legal liability, and finally, issue a settlement offer or a denial. Knowing this procedural flow keeps you from feeling completely lost in the dark. Now we reach Section 4, surviving the investigation traps. Let's slow down for a second because this is the climax of the process, how to handle the claims adjuster's interrogation. Adjusters are heavily trained to be friendly. They'll call and say something like, "This is just a routine recorded statement to speed up your check. How are you feeling today?" Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this seemingly polite question is a massive trap. It's designed to get you to reflexively commit to being fine well before symptoms like whiplash fully appear. Then there is the numbers game. Adjusters will press you hard for exact speeds, distances, and times. Let's contrast these phrases visually. A casual phrase like, "I guess they were going about 40 miles per hour," versus a protective phrase, "I don't know their exact speed." If you guess 40 miles per hour and the vehicle's black box data later shows 55, the adjuster will use that discrepancy to absolutely destroy your credibility.
Saying I don't know is a perfectly acceptable and legally much safer answer.
So why exactly are recorded statements so dangerous? Well, they create a permanent, unchangeable record. Insurers often use AI transcription tools that can easily misinterpret a can't for can, entirely flipping the context of your story. They also enable phishing expeditions into your past medical history to blame your current back pain on an old sports injury instead of the crash. A carefully reviewed written statement is vastly safer. And fun fact, if you live in a one-party consent state like Texas, you can actually legally record the adjuster right back. Which brings us to Section 5, handling delays and denied claims. Look, we have to face the reality that insurance carriers are for-profit businesses. They are actively going to look for reasons to minimize payouts or deny claims entirely. If you hit a wall, it's usually due to one of these loopholes. The most common is claiming insufficient proof of loss because of a missing police or medical report. They might also cite policy exclusions, like if an unlisted driver was using your car, or if you were using the vehicle for ride-sharing without a commercial rider. So the crucial point is how you manage communications when things go wrong. You have to use the confirm and verify method. Treat every single communication like it will eventually be read by a judge. Keep your tone strictly professional. After every phone call, send a time-stamped email summary, locking the adjuster into their promises. Say something like, "As discussed, you agreed to review my medical report by Friday. Please confirm receipt." Finally, Section 6. Post-claim tips and disclaimer. We're in the home stretch, wrapping up how to manage the ongoing claim. You might hear a confusing industry term called subrogation. Let's define this so you understand the mechanism. Subrogation just means your insurance company pays for your damages first, get your car fixed quickly, and then they legally go after the at-fault driver's insurance to recover those costs. If they succeed, that is how you eventually get your deductible refunded if you weren't at fault. Here are your final actionable steps to expedite the timeline. Use the insurer's mobile app to upload photos and track the status. Check right away if your policy covers a rental car. Keep a meticulous folder of all receipts for towing, storage, and medical copays. And crucially, do not sign any early settlement offers before you are absolutely certain your injuries have stabilized. Oh, and remember, you generally have the legal right to choose your own repair shop. If disputes arise, consider consulting a personal injury attorney to level the playing field. Real quick, I just need to read our standard disclaimer. This explainer is for informational purposes only. Laws and statutes of limitations vary incredibly widely by state, so you should always check official guidelines or consult a qualified professional for personal advice. So after all of that, the claims process isn't just about fixing bent metal. It is about protecting your rights and your financial future. Are you prepared to protect your own words the next time an insurance adjuster calls? Armed with this step-by-step roadmap, you absolutely should be. Keep this knowledge in your back pocket, stay safe out there on the roads, and thanks for joining us for this explainer.